So I pull my pants and my underwear down to my ankles. And before I can turn around and tell them to kiss my ass, these two giant fucking security guards from the whiskey grab me and throw me out onto the strip with my little dinky swinging in the wind. One, two, three, four.
God knows.
Count us in there.
All right. Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lynn.
The Lone Rangers, that's original. How do you pluralize Lone Ranger?
I don't understand what you're saying. And joining us today, the podcaster with a bass guitar, Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
Today, we will be discussing the 1994 rock comedy Airheads, written by Rich Wilkes, directed by Michael Lehman, starring Brendan Frasier, Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi, and the great David St. Hubbins of Spinal Tap. As always, this movie will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and listen to the podcast. But before we get into it, let's run the trailer.
I can't take that tape from you. If it's unsolicited, I can't touch it.
It's not easy to break into the music business. But these three guys...
What's your secret code?
I can't tell you my code.
...just found a way.
You guys are a unsigned band, and you broke into the radio station to get your demo played on the air?
I just feel a little goofy with a water pistol.
They don't know it's a water pistol. They think it's real.
Oops. Look, all I want to do is be heard, and then we're out of here.
Okay, who are you guys?
My name's Pip.
The band. The band name.
Sorry about that. Oh, man, look, it's the demo's wasted. Well, what are we going to do now? Run! Hello, police. I'm surrounded. I don't want to go to jail. I'm fragile.
Everybody on the floor right now.
Do you mind if I sit in a chair? I don't want to get all cruddy.
Yeah.
If she doesn't sit on the floor, I don't know why I have to.
Sit down! Everybody else gets to sit in a chair except for you. Is everybody okay in there?
He wants to know what your demands are for releasing the hostages.
What's he mean by hostages?
It's the inbreed.
We asked for a whole bunch of weird stuff. This way we can plead insanity later.
Number 13. Naked pictures of B. Arthur. Excuse me?
I think you're exceeding the maximum weight limit for that belt.
Yo! Is everybody having a good time tonight?
What are you thinking about?
Swimming pools?
He doesn't wear a helmet, does he?
You guys are crazy, man. Y'all are all woohoo.
It's a plastic gun!
A plastic gun!
Now what are you gonna do about that? Chunk style?
Improvised. The Lone Rangers?
What's wrong with that?
Well, there's three of you. You're not exactly lone.
No idea what you're saying right now.
Airheads.
I cut a deal with them. We gotta send one person out.
I'll go.
One of the hostages, doof.
Sorry.
The music made them do it.
Okay, and now it is time for Dez's 4 and 1, 4 fun, and 1 fake facts. And it will be up to my two co-hosts to try and figure out which fact is total bullshit. Here we go. Fact number 1. Brendan Frasier actually sang the lead vocal on the demo for Degenerated that was used in the movie. Number 2. Lemmy is actually God. Number 3. John Cusack was the first choice for the part of Chaz. Number 4. Christina Applegate was actually the first choice for the part of Kayla. And number 5. Mike Palm, the legendary singer of the band Agent Orange, actually wrote the song Degenerated for the punk band Reagan Youth. Tony, I'll go to you first. Which of the 5 fun facts do you think is total bullshit?
They're actually all completely 100% true.
They are not. Okay.
I know Lemmy is not God. All the rest are true. I know Lemmy is not God, but come on.
No,
Oh,
don't
no.
go there. You're blowing yourself out of the water as a fucking rocker. Lemmy is God. That's a trick question.
Exactly. Come on, you can't deny that fact. No, the rest are actually all true. I was actually really surprised that Flavor of the Month John Cusack didn't get this role. I mean, he was riding high off every other 80s comedy. Granted, this was going into the 90s. He was a little older for it, but I'm shocked he didn't get it.
And
that was her lifestyle at the time. So it was perfect casting, I thought.
Oh my God, I wish it had gone to Cusack and Applegate, because my two biggest complaints on this movie, and we'll get into it, is fucking Brendan Frasier's portrayal of Chaz grinds on me, and so does the Kayla character. So, Lynn, which of the 5 facts do you think is total bullshit?
I know that you have now taken a real fact and splicing it in half and making half of it true and half of it fake to trick us. And so it's number 5. Because I know
you are correct the third week in a row. Yeah. I feel like you may be hacking into my fun facts.
No, I just know the way your brain works.
But Tony, you must give it to me. Putting Mike Palm of Agent Orange in there was pretty good.
It was. Yeah, I knew Reagan Youth did it, but I didn't know the members of Reagan Youth, so I couldn't say that. But the thing is, I do have the CD of Degeneration, and by the band that came out in the 90s.
Right.
That had on it, as well as a couple other singles, which was actually a really good CD.
Well, the original of Degenerated by Reagan Youth came out in 1983, and if you listen to it, it's not very good. I mean, it's punk, but it's not very good. Agent Orange, on the other hand, yes, please. Okay. Let's go into the budget and box office. With a budget of $11.2 million and a box office gross of just $5.8 million, this movie was a flop until we all saw it on Comedy Central. And they played it on a loop forever, and it gained cult classic status and became what we all love now, or what we all thought we loved. Dylan, would you please give us a synopsis for this rock and roll gem?
I will, and this is a quick one.
Okay.
3 band members hoping for a big break head to a radio station to play their demo tape and wind up holding everyone hostage with plastic guns while the head DJ refuses to play them.
Story of my life. All right, let's get into it.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And I'm going to just let you guys know, I have 2 just gems of road stories. I know Tony's been dying to hear them, and these 2 are going to knock your socks off. And as we go through these rock and roll movies, I have certain stories that will match certain movies. And Tony, I'm not sure if you ever seen the movie CBGB's.
Yeah.
Okay, great movie, right? Did you enjoy it?
I did. I mean, it wasn't as accurate as it should have been, but yeah, it was a really enjoyable movie.
I liked how they brought in, like Talking Heads, Blondie, Police. Like, I thought it was pretty cool. Like you said, it wasn't as accurate as it could have been, but it was definitely entertaining, and it's one I'd like to do because I do have a fun story from when I played CBGB's. But anyway,
all you have to say is CBGB's bathroom, and everybody goes, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. But I will stick to my Whiskey A Go-Go stories for tonight. So let's get into it.
Oh my goodness, here we go. At the start of our movie, we get a shot of DJ Ian, played by Joe Mantegna, behind the microphone on air before we see Chaz, played by Brendan Frasier, getting off his motorcycle in front of Palatine Records. He sneaks in and attempts to give his demo to Jimmy Wing, played by Judd Nelson, before being removed from the premises. Back at home, he's watching MTV when his girlfriend Kayla, played by Amy Locane, comes home from work. He's not done anything at the house and couldn't even bother mailing in the rent, though he did have time to dump her makeup into the toilet because she left it on the back of the tank. After telling her he's doing the hard work while she sits in an office smoking and drinking coffee all day, which sounded familiar, she throws him out. She tosses all his belongings into the alley, and he leaves on his motorcycle. So, Tony, have you ever had somebody throw your stuff off a balcony?
Not off a balcony, but I've come home to boxes. And it's hard not to go, bitch. It's like, you can understand it. You can relate to it a little bit, even though he's wrong. It's like, dude, you have no idea what I do during the day anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much to say about everything you just said, but I'll let Des go a little bit before I go off on things.
Yeah, you can hear him like bubbling.
Well, in Chaz's defense, he didn't have a stamp. Okay, so right off the bat, but yeah, I lived this life. I mean, I was Chaz, only not as annoying, but I was Chaz for a while. Where
not and I think annoying? We all not as annoying.
No, I meant Chaz. I meant Chaz wasn't as annoying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think we've all been there, not working. The girl is, doing whatever she's doing, riding the pole more than likely. And I could relate with this character of Chaz. And back in the day, I thought I was cool, but looking back on it, I'm like, what a fucking joke, man.
Yeah, Big Fish Little Pond syndrome was huge back in the day.
Yeah.
See, but that's the one thing I always took pride in. Is like, you know what? I've going to school, got my degree, working, playing it out at night, doing the flyers, doing the pasting, doing the whole thing, doing the practicing, doing the writing. So I had all of that. So no one could ever say, but I totally lived the lifestyle when you could. I mean, you thought you were bigger than you were. You played it bigger than you were. As soon as anyone's like, hey, aren't you in the band? I am. Yeah. Thanks for seeing it. Yeah.
Well, hats off to you, because I played it completely differently. I didn't work, and I'd sleep until 4:00. I'd stay up every night doing drugs and just being a complete asshole. And it was bad.
So the movie, not for nothing, the cast of this movie is phenomenal. Like, you got everybody. Every scene is like, oh my God, they're in this. I forgot he's in this. Oh my God, David Arquette shows up. It's like there's somebody in every scene. You're like, that's great. So I mean,
every
looking
scene
at it on paper, it's really, really good. Then you watch it and you're like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. We get 2 Ghostbusters. We get fucking, we get everybody. Like you said, we get everybody in this movie.
It's just awesome. And not for nothing, back in the day, Amy, the high point. She between Crybaby and this, gorgeous.
Right, she was in Crybaby. That's right.
She was just beautiful. And then watching her, I watched it last night. Watching it last night, I'm like, oh, really? It's like she's a lot not as good as
it's cringy at some points, right? Like there was definitely like a point, like she's like, you butt. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't think it's her, and I actually don't think it's Brendan Frasier either. I think it was the writing. I think the writing was a little suspect.
They definitely played it down to try to be the PG that it could, as PG close as it could to get the audiences in. I get that. But I mean, just her appearance, it's like she was playing the LA blonde.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. It's like it was a very weird performance. A lot of these are very weird performances. It's like they suddenly goes into a silliest, like, dumb moment, like back to back. And don't even get me started on Kramer. Michael Richards, like, I can't stand him. And every scene with him was just basically UHF. He just can't play anyone but the mop boy in UHF,
And Kramer.
Yeah. And it was a bad version of UHF. Like, they shoehorned him in the movie. He didn't need to be there. It literally did not need to be there. And it's funny how you said, they tried to PG down this movie, because originally they wanted Rex to be wearing a shirt that said blow me. And he had the shirt that said blow me on it. And they were like, no, this isn't going to work. Get him out of that shirt. And Pip had a tattoo on his neck. And they didn't like the tattoo on his neck. Fun fact, I have 2 tattoos on my neck. They didn't like the tattoo on his neck. And they just dumbed it all down. They took all the edge off this movie. The
movie did what the characters were fighting against in the movie.
100%. And they crafted the character of Rex after Rex Brown from Pantera, their bass player. And for me, Rex is the coolest character in the movie. He's kind of like the most real adaptation of a cool rocker guy in the early late 90s. You know what I mean?
No, definitely, I would agree with that.
Yeah, Rex was cool. I could relate with his character. Pip is just not even a real person. It's ridiculous.
He's just Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler. Literally, Adam Sandler performance.
Yeah, and
this is like right in the middle of his Saturday Night Live run. This is like right before Billy Madison. So like this is early, so he's kind of doing, that's what he did.
Yeah,
that was Adam Sandler. Yeah.
I mean, you see his whole cast of every movie is in. I mean, you get Farley, you got the guy who plays the cop who's got the big eyes for Grandma's Boy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in his arsenal is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Chaz character was very unrelatable. I didn't know a lot of guys that were riding around up and down the strip on a fucking, $30,000 Harley Davidson Fat Boy. Like, was Chaz from Connecticut or something? I mean,
might have been.
Oh, they said he was from Indiana or something like that. He was like, what's his
from
real
the Midwest?
name?
Chester.
He played
Chester.
D&D. He was a fat kid. Got D&D. That whole admission was just like, that's one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
Of the movie. It's just like, I'm not cool. I wasn't cool. I played D&D. We'll get to it anyway.
I played D&D. We all played D&D.
Who didn't play D&D? I don't know why that has such a bad rap.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
D&D was fucking cool. I'll play it right now.
I do.
So did you notice that the front fender of Chaz's Harley said fag on it?
I did.
Why?
The only time you can actually read it, it's upside down because of the way he parks it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, they didn't block that out. It's like, it was very surprising.
And we were trying to decide if that was something that he had like done on purpose. Like, did he think it was cool, or did somebody write it on his bike? Because Chaz is a fag. Not to be derogatory.
Oh, it's a good. But back when this was in the early '90s, and you had Sebastian Bach running around with the AIDS kills fags dead T-shirt.
God,
that was the worst.
So I mean, it was, back then that was the thought, the mindset, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
it's like it was a thing to make fun of, to show that you were metal, you were rock.
Right.
You know, it's like
right.
Like,
yeah,
don't do that.
it's there's some really questionable choices, and one of the character traits that I was talking to Glenn about that I thought was really kind of just, it was just kind of weird. Like, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but like Pip's ongoing obsession with why don't black people like me, like they kept returning to it over and over through the movie, and it was just kind of weird to me. It was like they didn't really explain it, like why Pip was so obsessed with this. And I loved the guy, the engineer
tech
guy. Yeah, the tech. He was fucking great, man. Like, he's like saying to him, like, don't call me G and take a step back and stand on my fucking dick, dude. Like, you know, I like that, but I didn't get that. So go ahead.
Yeah, let's not jump too far ahead. All right. So Chaz goes to meet his friends and bandmates, Rex, played by Steve Buscemi, and Pip, played by Adam Sandler. Back at Rex and Pip's apartment, Chaz is impressed with the amount of fake toy guns they have. They were discontinued from Rex's job because they look too real. That night, they go to the Whiskey A Go-Go and watch a band that they think is beneath them, but somehow got a record deal. The band thanks Ian from KPPX Rebel Radio, and Chaz gets the idea that if they can get on the air at KPPX, they too will get signed. All right, honey, go ahead. Whiskey A Go-Go story.
Okay, so these are two gems. So the first time I played the Whiskey, I got the cover of the Rock City News, which is like the local Hollywood rag on the strip. And we almost sold the Whiskey out on a Saturday night as a headlining act. I mean, it was, let's just say, we fucking killed it. It was crazy.
Which band was
this? The Boston Brats.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was crazy good. So I think it was the next year, or maybe 2 years later, we went back and we played again on a Saturday night. And this time the club had told us, you know, guys, there's going to be no pyrotechnics this time. Do not fucking use those pyrotechnics again. Like, we almost, you know, blew out the pots on the board the first time, and they just said, don't do it. But being the fucking disrespectful, like, assholes we were, which is like why everybody hated us, we like packed them extra tight. And like 10 seconds into the first song, we blow them up and the power is cut to the stage and we hear over the hosting, fucking show's over. So I pull my pants and my underwear down to my ankles. And before I can turn around and tell them to kiss my ass, these two giant fucking security guards from the Whiskey grab me and throw me out onto the strip with my little dinky swinging in the wind. Yeah. So
you get a record deal, really? No one came to sign you that night, huh?
Well, actually, I'll let Dwayne answer that later. But so this is the better of the two stories. So the first year after the Great Show, we had gone out to Long Beach, California for a house party after the show. I guess we got there probably about 2:30 in the morning or so. And I had been doing coke and drinking all night, just like every idiot was doing back in the day. And we had gone out there and we started smoking some weed and drinking, trying to get the landing gear out, you know, come down a little bit. And there were some glasses of orange juice lined up on a breakfast bar in this house. So I took one and I drank it. And not too long after that, my guitar player pulled me into the bathroom and he's like, dude, you look fucking like unhinged. He goes, you're acting fucking crazy and you look fucked up. And I immediately start panicking. We leave the bathroom. This giant bald man is in the kitchen and I can hear him yelling, who the fuck drank this orange juice? And there was like, you know, 3 or 4 of them lined up. And I said, I drank the orange juice. And he came over and he kind of got in my face. And, I'm like, why? And he goes, that was mine. And it had methamphetamine in it. And he can see the look of like sheer panic on my face now. And I mean, it's obvious I'm acting completely fucked up and there's something wrong with me. So his demeanor changes a little bit and he kind of gets a smile on his face and he leans into me and he says, I hope you're not busy for the next couple of days. And he walked away. And I fucking lost my mind. And I insisted I be taken to Cedars-Sinai Hospital, where I laid in a dark room on a gurney for several hours while they peppered me with little bits of Benadryl. And eventually made it back to my hotel. And the guy that was managing our band at the time gave me a bunch of Valium and knocked me out. So
smart.
Yeah.
Good
I also that night that the pots blew and they got thrown off, somebody did approach him and say, hey, I'm not really interested in the band, but you're a character, I'm interested in you. And Des said to him, you got any drugs? And the guy goes, no. And he goes, all right, bye. And he runs away with his pants still around his ankles. Now, mind you, I'm like, come back here. I'm holding all of his clothes, all of my bag, his bag, chasing him down the Sunset Strip while he's got his butt out. So yeah, that was quite the night.
Good times.
So Tony, do you have any a story of debauchery you would like to share with the viewers?
No.
Okay. Well,
smart man.
I'm sure Tony has some, but he is not willing to share with you guys. So there you go.
Smart man.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, you're just showing your whole ass all over again.
Yeah. It's okay. I think on this show, everybody's seen my ass several times.
So the next day, our heroes go to KPPX. They attempt to break into the station through the back door, but have difficulty with it until a girl stepping outside for a cigarette break opens the door and knocks it right into Pip's face. Feeling bad for him, she goes back inside for an ice pack, and then when she heads back inside again, Chaz tosses his backpack down onto the door edge so it doesn't close all the way. The three now head inside, walking quietly past the office of Milo Jackson, played by Michael McKean, who is telling Doug Beach, played by Michael Richards, that there's change coming to the station and he's trying to handle it delicately. Once they make it to the broadcast booth, they let themselves inside, much to DJ Ian's surprise. Seeing an opportunity, Ian puts the microphone in front of them and puts it on the air. Milo is pissed and storms the booth and tries to throw Chaz and the boys out, but when he calls Rex Hollywood Boulevard trash, he snaps and grabs one of the fake guns and puts it in Milo's face. Chaz doubles down by grabbing another one and tells him to play their tape. Meanwhile, everyone is hearing what is happening out and around on air. Doug calls the police and Jimmy Wing is listening to them shit talk him back at Palantine. So, Tony, what is the deal with the radio DJs in our movies having curly black hair?
It's apparently the go-to do.
The go-to look?
Yeah, with the Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
I mean, that was the thing. It's like he was like the total opposite of what you picture KNAC and all the metal guys that were like on the radio at the time. It looked like that when you finally saw them.
Yeah,
I remember Rocco for AAF. Like he was just a big doofus. It's just like anyway. And touch on before is the fact I love that they got Judd Nelson to be the slimy record producer.
That
that
was perfect casting.
Fucking John Bender.
People don't give him enough credit for the movies he's picked. Like, because he just after the Breakfast Club, he just went away. But it's like people forget he had a really good run. Like he was City isn't like an amazing character. He was in this movie called From the Hip, which he was a lawyer, which is an amazing movie with John Hurt. It's like a murder mystery, but he plays a lawyer, and
he's very good.
Totally against type of what he's always played. As like a slimy kind of jerky guy, but he I love that they put him in that, and every chewed the scenery. Like he loved that role. You can he loved that role.
I can imagine him back in the time that he did the Breakfast Club. Can you imagine that being Chaz? I mean, John Bender would have been a great Chaz.
Oh yeah,
I think he would have been a better Rex.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Definitely. So
he was keeping it real.
I did want to say, so when he's in the when he's up at the record company at Palatine, Chaz, and he's trying to get Jimmy Wink to listen to his CD. Remember the band wearing all the hats?
Yeah.
That was like a thing, man. I saw that. I'm like, well, they got that right, man. That was so goofy. Oh, but it was so real. Don't say anything. You're going to fuck it up, you know?
Yeah.
And I also like that it showed that Pip and Rex, lived in that shitty apartment, and the gear was set up in the apartment. They were practicing in the apartment.
In his apartment, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look there, he had like the soundproofing stuff on it because the neighbors complained.
And so they're always on the second floor too. It's cheaper to live on the second floor, so the band's always at the second or third floor.
Yeah, pounding the ceiling with the kick drum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I thought that was great. Tony, were you did you ever play at the Charlestown Rehearsal Studio?
Is that the one in
Sullivan Square?
Oh God, yeah, we lived there.
Yeah, yeah. I lived there for about probably 2.5 or 3 years.
Yeah,
like actually lived there. He actually lived there.
No, we had the couch that was when you got in the fight, that's where you went.
Yeah, no, when I moved back.
Put this way, it was pretty much if you saw the lock had a colored zip tie on it, you didn't go in.
That's right.
It's kind of like it was the band equivalent of the scrunchie.
Yes. Yeah. No, I didn't have a couch. I literally that's where I lived for like 3 years. Like I didn't have another place to go. So
showers were so gross.
Oh, I mean, there was no hot water, so you literally have to just put soap on your dry body and then go in and just rinse it all off and run back to your fucking room. But yeah, they were the worst of times and the best of times. It was
totally
pretty cool.
Miss it. And when we had the second floor, because we moved around a lot in there, but it's like when we had the second floor, we were right above. So when we go to gigs, open the base up, there's donuts. I smelled donuts. And it's like it was amazing because like all my gear smelled like sweet pastries. It was beautiful.
Yeah, but what sucked was when you're starving and there's no food and no money and you're smelling those fucking donuts.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. That place was cool, man. It was open 24/7 and you could just fucking live there. It was really something.
I know. It was like a whole era. It was so weird.
Yeah.
All the other bands and everybody was cool. It's like,
oh yeah,
right.
It was.
And you had the scariest fuck elevator. Sometimes it works. Sometimes everybody everybody see what happens.
That's right. That's right. And it was an ongoing party there. Like on Friday and Saturday night, man, there was just, there was fucking joints being passed from room to room to room and girls just wandering the hall.
Make sure you close your door if you're going to play. Fuck that. Everybody's doors were open on the weekend.
Oh yeah. It was like you're playing little mini shows.
Just went there and hung out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome, man. That was fucking the balls. It's I think it's a car dealership now or something.
It's a townhouses. They turned into.
Is it townhouses?
Oh my God, did they?
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as turning Man Ray into condos.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Okay.
The movie.
The movie.
Let's not gloss over what you just said. So Tony, let's go through this. So they break in and this is pretty cool because you can see that Ian is on the air and you could tell he's burnt out on this, and these guys come in and before they put him at gunpoint or anything, he's like, so you broke in here to get your demo played on the air, and he puts him on air and spins the mic around, and I think he's doing this to kind of bust Milo's balls and just flex a little bit on Milo, and he's letting them talk, and I thought this was a pretty awesome scene.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, the scene before at the whiskey, they basically had the two of them going back and forth about, it's like, why are we playing these guys? These guys suck. It's like he knows what's good and what's not. He's like, well, that's good. And then, that's why they get platinum albums, because you play them.
Right.
It's just like it's the game. It's like he was playing the game, and unfortunately, he didn't want to play it anymore. Later on, he has a chance to turn the tables with the gun and doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get to, but. Yeah.
I liked the I liked the Lone Rangers. They seemed like a real band. They were cool. They were just playing rock and roll. There were no outfits. They were just fucking cool. I could see why Chaz is saying, listen, I'm not pulling Pud, man. My whole life force is on this demo.
Well, that was
how many demos?
Then. It's like we wrote a full length CD. We all did at this point.
Yeah.
It's like this is our shit. It's like the first CD's always for decades. You finally put it down. This is everything we got. And hopefully we'll get to it when we get to it. But it's like the whole Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2 documentary.
Yeah.
About the Sunset Strip. That whole 10-minute scene of like, well, what if you don't make it? Oh, but I will. If you heard my music, you'd hear it. You'd know I'm going to make it. It's like. You just have to hear.
No question.
Oh yeah. And where is he now?
Like, how many times did we send CDs to radio stations, to clubs? Like, hey, did you listen to it? Did you listen to it? You listen to it? You know they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they're not getting to it.
Yeah.
They have
We've
no
all
interest.
played the promotion game. We've all played the booking game. And it was maddening back in the day because there was only a handful of booking live rock acts.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
had to go out. You had to go to New York City. You had to go somewhere else because Boston only had what? You had the Rat. You had Narcissus when it was open.
Oh, yeah. I played there.
You had Mamikins if it was there. You had Bill's Bar.
Played there.
Red Square for a little
If
bit.
you were lucky to get into Avalon Axis.
Yeah.
You had Red Square, which was also Red Square. What else was it? The Rock Pile.
The Rock Pile, right.
Club 3.
The Channel.
The Channel. Well, see, that was before me. I missed the Channel by like a year.
The Rat, which I played. I must have
lived the Rat.
Yeah,
the Rat was our, we played there twice a month. We loved the Rat.
The best club I ever played in Boston was by far Narcissus upstairs. I mean, that was fucking legit. That place was just beautiful. You know, that stage with the
they closed the year we started playing out, so I missed it. I was pissed.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
the Rats. Well, enough. The only one that ever gave us was Mamikins.
Yeah.
They had like the most beautiful green room. It's like we actually get a dressing room. You kidding me? It's not just a closet.
It's funny. We played Mamikins and we brought a bunch of hay bales in and lined the stage with them, and the guy was pissed about it. And we fucking left them there when we left, right? So they ended up putting all these hay bales behind Mamikins, which just like rotted. And they were like, that band's never playing here again. And a friend of ours band, and this is all just a blur, but they insisted that we open for them. And they said that was it. They're just like, this Mama Kid wanted this band to play. It was like K9 or something, one of these bands that was coming up at the time. And they were like, no, we want the Brats to open for us pretty much, or we're not doing it. So we ended up getting back in there after the booking agent was like, they will never play here again, leaving that shitty hay on the stage. And it was pretty satisfying walking in and being like, what's up, buddy?
Oh my God, you were just making friends all over town.
Yeah. It was funny. One of our other buddies that played in the band, I'm not going to mention his name on the air, but he was at the Rat one night and someone was like, hey, you know the Boston Brats? And he was like, yeah, I know the Brats. They're my friends. And he goes, give him a message. And he punched him in the eye and fucking knocked him out. Poor kid.
You guys were a little obnoxious, dude.
Yeah, that's a message I'm glad I didn't get.
Yeah. A little obnoxious? Oh, boy.
We were saying today, if anybody asked you that question, the answer is no. Like, if anybody asked me, like, were you in the Brats? I'd be like, no, definitely not. I heard their dicks, though.
They're playing Lansdowne on a weekend night when the Sox are playing. It was just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just amazing. And honestly, one of my favorite stories from playing, we played Bill's Bar one night on a Sox night, and next door Motorhead was playing. So we're loading in, and we hear the rehearsal, and we're like, all right, fine, whatever.
Oh,
and then
so
we're
good.
hanging out, and all of a sudden we look down the street, and there's like, that can't be Lemmy. Is that Lemmy? What the fuck is that Lemmy? So I run to the van, get a CD, run up to him like a fucking fanboy. I'm like, I like blurted out like, hey, here's my CD. Like, oh man, great, thanks. How much I'll listen to it? He'd never listen to it, but you know what? He took the time, talked to a loser, took his CD, shook my hand, and continued on his way. And it was just like, I met Lemmy.
You touched God.
I did. I touched God. In the same night, because Wasp were opening, Black Eagles didn't even spit at us. Wouldn't even look at us. Hey, man, we love you. We love Wasp. Didn't even acknowledge us. Piece of shit. I'll continue till the day I die. I will say Wasp. Anyone in Wasp aside from Chris Holmes, piece of shit.
Holy shit. That's a fucking great story, dude. That's a great story. You met fucking Lemmy on Lansdowne. That's fucking awesome.
Walking down, smoking a cigarette, doing his thing.
Holy shit.
What Lemmy does.
First concert I ever saw was at the Orpheum, and it was Wasp. What is it? Accept and the Zodiac Mind Warp. Good concert.
Zodiac Mind Warp.
Boy, that's a blast from the past.
Yes.
I saw them playing. That was the triple bill. It was Trouble, Zodiac Mind Warp, and White Zombie at the Palladium.
Oh, nice. I don't remember which one came first because I was 13. It was either Van Halen on the Diver Down small tour they did, or it was Ozzy and Crew at the Centrum. That's
first. But it's like,
was that Shout at the Devil?
Shout the Devil, yeah.
Oh, fucking so good. Best show I ever saw was Guns N' Roses at the Orpheum for Appetite for Destruction. And how about you, Tony?
I saw them at the Paradise.
No.
Wait,
Guns N' Roses?
Right, this will be my story.
Nice.
So, I mean, I'm 17. 18. I used to go to Strawberry Strawberries on a weekly basis. Look for new music. And hey, there's this video that's playing. This Welcome to the Jungle. Let's me and my buddy Mark get in his car. Let's go to Strawberries, see if they got it. We parking lot, and all of a sudden this other car pulls in like blah 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 blah. Hey, is this the Peabody Strawberries? Like, no, it's the Saugus. Why? Oh, Guns N' Roses is going to be at the Peabody Strawberries doing a signing. Do you know where it is? I'm like, yeah, follow us. We'll go. And figure, all right, we'll go grab a CD. It'll be cool. Meet them, whatever. And so we go. We're literally the last people in line. We go. I pick up. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to actually buy an album, and I got the band album cover, signed by all original members.
Oh.
And as I'm going through the line, they're like, oh, and Duff's like, hey, do you play? I'm like, yeah, I do. I play bass. It's like, oh, that's great, man. Like, keep that up. He was like, really, really nice. Slash smashed out of his fucking mind. Just a mess. Steven Adler has me hold the album in front of me, and he signs it like he's a fencer, like fencing. Oh. And then he laughs and puts it down, and I'm like, actually signs his name. And so we're getting towards the end, and Duff, since we lost people, Duff got up and kind of went towards the end. He's like, hey, are you guys coming to the show tonight? We're like, no, we didn't even know you guys were playing. Sorry. Tell you what, bass player, meet us down back. Like, come, there's a stairway in the back, meet us down there. We'll set you up. We're like, all right, we don't know who these people are. We heard the song, we liked it. And then so we go down around back, and we wipe by the stairs, and about 20 minutes later, door kicks open, they come down the stairs in the balcony, and they come down. And Axl, Izzy, and Steven Adler go away, and Slash with their handler and Duff hang out because there was only room for certain people in the van. And chat with them for like 25, 30 minutes. And they said, all right, yeah, come to the Paradise tonight. We're playing in Boston. Yeah, we'll put you on the list. We're like, all right, you're cool. And it was a good thing, just hang out, shoot the shit. And so we're like, you know what? We should try. Let's see if we can get in. Because we were only 17, 18 at the time. And it's a 21 plus place. But let's go see what we could do. And we go. And we're like, hey, we're on the list. It's like, what's your names? We give our names. He's like, you're on the list. And it's like, are you sure? Like, they said we were on the list. Like, we're on the list. And then the guy who was next to him was like, no, check the band list. We were on the fucking band's list.
Oh.
And we got to go in and watch the show.
Fucking A, man. That's a great story. All right.
A little story.
That's awesome.
That's fucking good stuff. I
got the album framed on my wall with all like the quote influential albums that influenced me up to play bass.
Damn, I'll bet that one would go for some pretty nice coin on eBay.
That's never leaving my house.
You get that thing. You get that thing authenticated by James Speth's fucking authentications. That's gonna be an expensive record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so they are in the sound room.
Yes.
and Milo is going to come in and tell them, get these fucking guys out of here.
Yes.
And this is where we get Chaz saying, I am rock and roll. I'm out there. I'm living it. You look like half a butt puppet with your Hagar slacks and your little fucking ponytail. And he pulls it, and it's a real ponytail. I love this.
I also love that they got Michael McKean for this. It's just so perfect. Spinal Tap. They were like, yeah, but let's put a dude from Spinal Tap in the movie as like the uncool guy. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah, and what's great
there actually is a Spinal Tap poster in their apartment.
There's a Spinal Tap poster in Milo's office.
Yeah. I was about to say, sorry.
Yeah.
I love it. Perfect.
I love it too. Yep.
All right. So the tape that the band has brought with them is a reel-to-reel, but they're only set up to play CDs and cassettes at the radio station. So gather around, children. Once upon a time, if you wanted to listen to music, you had to get a physical copy of the album and use something called a cassette player or a CD player to listen to them. You damn whippersnappers and your streaming. Anyway, Milo goes to Marcus's office. Marcus is played by Reggie Cathy to get the reel-to-reel. Marcus needs to fix it for it to work, and Pip tries to have a conversation with him while he does, and Marcus is having none of it. Doug, meanwhile, is crawling all over the office commando style. It's basically the Kramer character, but he does that pretty well, so I guess I can't blame them for using him, continuing to use him that way. Now, let me get in here real quick. So the building that they used for KPPX is in the same parking lot as the building that Nakatomi Tower was in. So him crawling through the air ducts was kind of like a nod to Die Hard.
100%. You can actually see the Nakatomi building in several scenes in this, and they definitely did that as a nod to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there while I was talking about him crawling around in there. All right. So back in the broadcast booth, they're getting the reel-to-reel ready to play when Ian asks them the name of the band, the Lone Rangers. He basically tells them that they have a shitty name when he explains why. None of them can really understand the problem. They start the song running, but the tape becomes unraveled and lands right into the ashtray with Rex's discarded cigarette, and it bursts into flames. The band decides to make a break for it, but when they do, there's a cop at the door. They decide to round everyone up, including Carter, played by David Arquette, and try to figure out what to do from there. So at this point, Des, what do you think? A smart move would be to give yourself up to the cops and just be like, it was a joke. But they don't, obviously, and it would not have made a good movie. But
I have so many problems starting out here. Okay, so first of all, he's put his whole life force on this 1/4-inch tape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all they have now, presumably they've scrounged all their money together and made this demo. They have exactly 2 copies of it. The reel-to-reel, which you can't play anywhere, and 1 cassette, that his girlfriend has that is made with tape on it that says The Lone Rangers. And that's it. They have not made any other copies of this tape. This is what they have. What? I mean, Tony, what?
You have the car copy, you have the home copy, you have the safety copy. 4 to 5 of them just to make sure. You've given some to friends. Can you listen to this? Give me what your thoughts are, which level are. Should I lower the bass? Should I bring the guitars up? My vocals getting lost. It's like everybody's got a copy. Are you kidding me?
Like that's it? There's 2 copies? No. It's ridiculous. I don't even know what else to say about this. It's just like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, I hate to say it's like I said, back in the day, this was a really fun movie to watch. Being in a band, oh, fun. I get it. Fucking Lone Rangers, man. Yeah, watching it, it's so cringy. Like there's so many sophomoric jokes in it. There's so many terrible performances. The writing is just and choices of the characters were given just terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, but again, we have to get through it now. But it's like there's small little jokes and small little performances throughout the whole thing that make the whole thing really fun. So I even though I'm going to probably shit on it for the next half hour, I still really like the movie.
Yeah.
Lines and throwaway lines. It's like, the Chaz's delivery when he's like, you can't pluralize Lone Ranger. He stares. Brendan Frasier just literally just gazes at him. He's like, I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
It's just like a perfect delivery, and it made me actually laugh out loud.
Oh yeah, shouldn't you be the 3 Rangers? And his when he actually introduces them on the air, I mean, that is fucking gold. For the first time anywhere, I'm guessing the Lone Rangers. This movie is a guilty pleasure. I love it because it reminds me of a cherished time in my life as you. So it makes me feel good. It's like eating macaroni and cheese. But you show this to a kid today and they're going to be like, what the fuck am I even watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one thing we haven't touched on yet, which I was around, I think when he was going on Records, is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is a good soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some, I mean, I don't like Four Non Blonde's version of I'm the One, but again, it's I'm the One written by Van Halen. So but it's like, I'm sitting there going like, wait, I know that song. And it was the song by Stuttering John, Talk My Way Out of It, which I remember buying that CD for that one song. It's a really good song. And throughout the whole movie, there's so many songs like played in the background that are actually really good.
So fun fact here is the guitar player of Four Non Blondes was actually my roommate when I lived in San Francisco. His name was Roger Rochera. And during the earthquake of 1988, we were sitting in our apartment and it started. And he was like, they used to say, why do you say wicked? Why is everything so wicked and so mad? And he'd be like, here it is, your first earthquake. And then he starts like getting this look on his face. He's like, dude, this could be it, basically. So we're on the 3rd floor of the apartment and I go running for the stairs and he's screaming. He's like, dude, no, do not leave. He's like, just get in the doorway. I'm running down the stairs as this thing is shaking. And I realized once I get out in the street, you're not out running an earthquake. Yeah. So Roger, I should say, he was not like per se my roommate. I had guys that I split the rent with, but in San Francisco at the time, everybody was just staying everywhere. So he would stay at my house for a few days, my apartment. He would stay at the band's apartment, which was this disgusting apartment in the city. And it was funny because when you would go over there, the tub had so much fucking hair in it. I mean, it's the one thing I remember was how much fucking air was in this tub because it would collect in the drain from all these, scumbag rockers, and they would just pull it out and stick it in the corner there on the tub. And yeah, it was like a little animal.
That's
why we made it through COVID, because we stayed and lived in places like that.
No, totally, dude. I could lick doorknobs all day and have.
Yeah, between going in the bathroom with CBGBs, we all the immunities, man.
Yeah, I think if you use the bathroom at the Rat, the bathroom at CBGB's, even the bathroom at Man Ray, I think you're okay.
Oh, listen, I sniffed cocaine off the back of a toilet in every freaking nightclub in Boston.
Oh, you're gonna outlive us all, Keith.
I would also just like to say I have been completely 100% sober for going on almost 10 years now. And, I live a completely different life than I did back then. I was a complete asshole, drug addict, scumbag. And, I try to be a better person now. So
well, let's see. He's been clean for 10 years and we've been married for 20. So
oh, shit. Okay.
Moving on.
The realization makes everything a lot clearer, doesn't it?
Oh my God. All right. So the police arrive, including O'Malley, played by Ernie Hudson, and Wilson, played by Chris Farley. They want to know the demands for releasing hostages. Of course, Chaz, Rex, and Pip are woefully unprepared for this moment and don't know what to do. Chaz decides to get another copy of the tape, but Kayla's not home, and she threw her tape out the window of the car. People are now starting to show up at the radio station, and it's turning into a party. Chaz comes out and tells O'Malley he's going to have to go find Kayla, and she's probably somewhere on the strip, and they need to get the tape from her. They release the receptionist, Yvonne, as a show of good faith, and Pip says he's going to miss her. Rex gives him a hard time over it, but that's just not who Pip is. Carl Mace, played by Marshall Bell, shows up with his crack team and tries to take over O'Malley's role. He takes a phone call from Doug, who's been crawling around inside the air vents, and decides to make him his man on the inside. So, Tony, the guys are trying to make the most of a bad situation, but it's things are unraveling pretty quickly, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the cluelessness of it. It's just I actually enjoyed them. Like, they didn't see the gravity of it all, and every once in a while there'd be like a little glimmer of like, oh yeah, yeah, totally.
I loved Arquette's character. The Clydesdale still, man. What's the Clydesdale still? How many Clydesdales it would take to rip her off your face?
Oh God.
I loved his character. I thought he was fucking great. And yeah, there was a ton of goofy shit that just doesn't play now, but I laughed at the time. And I loved the what was his name, the tech again?
Marcus.
Marcus. I love Marcus, man, because he was ready to fucking whip their asses.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was like, you put that gun down. It's you and me, mano a mano. He was awesome. And he's playing the fucking Gibson Flying V. And, and you get Pip with all these absolutely retarded things he keeps saying, man. I'm down, G. I was there, Public Enemy and Anthrax. And then when he's saying to the secretary, is it hard, like when you go into a store and, they're looking at you like you're going to steal something? She goes, that's never happened to me. Has it happened to you? And he's like, look at Chaz out there doing this thing. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? It was so weird because he's so dumb and he's portraying this character with like no mind.
But it's girl, and Chaz explains it. It's like he's got the quiet cool. It's like it's all an act. It's like, and like we've all known that guy who plays dumber than he is the chicks, and it works.
Yeah. No,
so it's like once he explained that, I'm like, it put it in a kind of a new light. Like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. No, I guess now that you say that, yeah, I'll go with it. I love when Rex is saying, these are our friends, man. You keep being nice to them and they're not going to do what we say. He's like, he's like, show me your fucking game face. He's like, sit down, please, you. And he's like, no, that sucks. And finally he's like, I'll fucking rip your eyes out, piss down your throat, and I'll kill you with my dick.
I'll kill you with my dick.
I'm paraphrasing. I don't think he actually said, I'll kill you with my dick.
But that was close, yeah.
I think it's something like, I'll stab you to death with my dick or something like that.
Oh, God. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, my God. All right. So outside is really like a party now. The band is taking control of the airwaves and they're playing the music that they like. And the people outside are gathered around and jamming. Blah, 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 blah. What are words? So Rex asks why they don't play all the good CDs that they have. And Ian says that it's Milo's fault. Rex then says that Milo listens to easy listening because there's a whole box of it in his office, and Ian's ears perk up immediately. He knows Milo isn't into music at all, and this makes his spidey sense tingle. He goes to the office and digs through the box. He confronts Milo. Milo reveals that the radio is being reformatted and restaffed, meaning everyone is losing their jobs. Ian attacks Milo, and you get this good moment where Rex is like, fight! Meanwhile, Wilson has gone to the strip to look for Kayla. He goes into the White Zombie show playing at the whiskey, where he gets shoved into the pit before seeing Kayla at the bar. He tells her to go with him, but she doesn't want to have anything to do with Chaz at all and takes off. So, Des, we've all known the pain of our favorite radio stations reformatting. You know, KPPX was based on KNAC, which went off the air 6 months after this movie came out. So it was almost like it was telling the future. And of course, here in Boston, we lost AAF, BCN, FNX. We've lost them all. You know, satellite and streaming takes a little of the sting off, but I still miss those old stations. They were the best.
Yeah, it was crazy how right this movie got it. You know, the bottom line is, you know, people don't want to play this kind of music anymore. And yeah, this movie was very forward looking. I mean, it called it way before it happened. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mean how many times we would go to, like, you know, the Centrum to see Slayer, and AF would be out there, oh, we got Slayer. Why? And we would literally walk like, why are you giving us play Slayer tickets? You don't fucking play it on your radio. You don't play Slayer. Get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here. This is not your crowd. Fuck off.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you though, I loved Ian. I thought Ian was a great character. I thought the actor played it great, and it really worked for me.
Yeah.
It's so not his kind of character. I mean, the guy was fucking Joey Zaza in The Godfather 3. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
he pulled off the cool.
Like, to go slumming to do this movie with Adam Sandler. It's like, you know, it's like that paid for a summer house somewhere, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But he pulled off the cool. I mean, he pulled it off. It was, I thought it was a great performance by him. I bought it 100%.
Oh, totally. I mean, we've all dreamed of like taking over radio stations, or back in the day, taking over MTV videos we want to see.
Yeah.
It's how many times can we see 18 in Life? How many times can we see Youth Gone Wild? Like, dude, show me a live version of Sweet Little Sister. Show me something like, show me the deep cuts off like the good albums. Like, show me Push off of Cinderella, off of Night Songs. I don't want to see Nobody's Fool again. You know, it's like, let's hear the good stuff. Occasionally you'd have those like the radio was like, oh, we're gonna do an hour of deep cuts, and you'd hear it, but it's like 2 a.m. and it sucks.
You know, what's crazy about, and I mean, just because you said it, what's crazy about Cinderella, man, is the band came out with, you know, Nobody's Fool, right? Wasn't that it? Or was it Shake Me?
No, it was Shake Me was first. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, these guys dressed like the biggest losers. And I mean, at the time it was cool. I get it. It was cool. And they were billed as one of these glam hair bands. But the bottom line is Tom Kiefer, and his voice has since failed him. Something happened. I know he had to have like his vocal cords fused or something. He had like a problem, and he
look at his style. His style, he was tearing his throat up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the guys from Girls School, Fox. It's like, it's painful to listen to.
Yeah.
What's weird about him though is that he is like a really good songwriter in the vein of like true rock and roll. Like, this guy can do like Aerosmith, Stones. He's ultra talented. He's an ultra talented guitar player. If you listen to some of the early stuff live, their live sets when he's doing like Gypsy Rose and stuff, this guy could really sing great, man.
Well, the Long Cold Winter was a really well-written album. It was
loved it.
style.
Yeah, I loved that album.
Bluesy rock. It was sleazy rock. A little more edge would have made it the sleazy rock it could have been. That's why I didn't like it as much, because I mean, I was more into the sleazy, just the basic rock and roll. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Night Songs.
Yeah,
that hit me perfectly. Like that whole Bon Jovi introduced Skid Row, and then they came out with Cinderella. They brought them both on the road, and it was like, I love these bands. And they did the flippy guitar thing too, which was cool.
Now, see me, I always look at, like, at the time I was totally in. You know, I was there.
Yeah.
I was Aquanet. I was ready to go. I was using the lighter on my eyeliner. I was ready to roll. But you know, I look back now and I'm like, we lost out on a lot of really good music because A&R guys and radio stations and, the people at the record companies were making them do music in one way. Like Des and I have talked about this before, but Warrant, who was like the worst, awful, like Cherry Pie is fucking garbage. I'm sorry. If you like it,
but he wrote it in like 10 minutes.
Yes, and Down Boys is garbage. I'm sorry. If you love it, I'm sorry. But if you listen to Uncle Tom's Cabin, it's such a good song. It's amazing. It's a really good song. And it's like Janie Lane was actually really a talented songwriter, and he was stuck writing these garbage lollipop songs because that's all the record companies wanted to put out. And it kills me.
I thought you were going to go down the road that I will die on this hill. They came out, their third album is the best album they ever written. Dog Eat Dog. It's a written, mature album. Everything, the guitars on it are amazing. His vocals are amazing. The songs are perfectly, it was a perfect album. Like, I love that to this day. Still in my rotation. But
they wrote good songs.
They did. And you'd never heard them because they're not the flavor of the month anymore. It's not the style.
Right.
So, all the bands that are still playing the fairs and they're still trying, their albums are actually really good. Like Skid Row just came out with another album. It's fucking heavy. It's
that
really
singer's good. That singer is good.
The new singer's really good.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the new songs, the LA Guns version with Tracy and Phil. They just came out with a bunch of new songs, and it's really good. I liked it.
I didn't like it.
You didn't care for it?
So bad. Yeah, I wanted to like it, but I couldn't. But man, talk to me about Extreme's new album. But that new single is amazing.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, Nuno got heavy. He's like, I'm gonna shed the Rihanna for a little bit and give a little balls to myself. But anyway, we're off topic. Back to the movie.
Yeah. A lot of these bands, unfortunately, a lot of these bands are like we're saying, like Warrant and Cinderella, they came out during the lipstick era. And I don't think, especially like Cinderella, that wasn't really what Tom Kiefer was all about. And then when they tried to shed it after Appetite for Destruction, no one was buying it. They're like, nope, can't do it. Same with Poison. It's like, nope, can't put the leather vest on now, Chief.
See, Poison never. I don't ever want Poison to change. I saw them in the summer on the tour with Crew and Def Leppard, and they were easily the best one out there.
No, they put on a great show every single time I see them.
Exactly. I don't ever want them to change. Keep writing the bubblegum shit. Keep playing. Keep kicking. Keep power jumping. I'm on board. That's you. That's Poison as I want to remember you.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear them do anything else.
Right.
I have trouble listening to hair metal now. It's like, for me, it doesn't really resonate anymore, but like I can listen to fucking The Cult and it's just like, it's timeless. It's timeless.
Meanwhile, Kayla has finally heard them asking her to bring the tape on the radio. She stops and finds it on the ground where she threw it after it's been run over, kicked, and a dog peed on it. She heads towards the station, though she's still pissed at Chaz. The band is making a list of demands, including 76 copies of Moby Dick. Doug is still crawling around in the air ducts and eavesdrops on Pip and Susie getting a little spicy before Max tells him he wants to give him a gun. In an act of defiance, Ian turns the music up very loud and tells everyone on air about the station switching formats. Milo finds Pip and Susie on his couch before the lights go out. A Capitol Records A&R guy is at the door, played by Harold Ramis. He tells them to come on out because of all the exposure that they're going to get. After a few questions, they decide he's a cop and not a real A&R guy and chase him off. Chaz gets the cops to turn the power back on. As he's going back inside, Kayla shows up and apologizes for being a bitch, though honestly, I think she had every right to be upset with him. Max stops her and tells everyone that Chaz's real name is Chester. Chaz reveals he was a nerd in school, he had a bug collection, and played D&D. Others in the crowd share their nerdiness, and it's honestly kind of wholesome. Kayla runs to Chaz, and they hug. So, Tony, I mean, like you were saying earlier, you played some D&D, and were you ever a part of the Warhammer games at Steve's house back in the day?
No, I can say I wasn't. No. But we were fencing outside his house at 2 a.m. after a show.
Nice. Yes, you were. So I think you might have been wearing a Three Musketeers bib.
That's a good possibility. Yeah, I did have the hat and the headband.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I remember this.
We'll move on.
But I will just say that D&D's had a glow up. People don't quite paint it in quite the bad light that it had back in this movie.
Yeah, Stranger Things pretty much made it cool to play D&D now.
Yeah, good. Actually, good point. Good point.
So I mean, there's so many things. Can I go point by point of what you're talking about?
Yes.
Jeez, I don't remember. It was like so much the whole end of the movie.
Hold on. So Kayla finds the tape. The dog peed on it. She heads back to the station.
All right,
The
she
band's
sucks.
yeah.
She completely sucks.
Fucking Yoko.
It's like she's like, oh, I'm going to destroy everything. Oh, but I love you. But like, I hated her. By the end of this movie, I just wanted her to go away.
I actually thought she was poorly written. Like she didn't have an agenda and she didn't stick to it. So
And the ongoing stupid joke between them. I wrote that song before I met you. I wrote that song after I met you. It's like, oh, who fucking cares when you wrote the song?
Right.
Girls need the song written for them. Every girlfriend I've ever had is like, oh, did you write that for me? Yeah, of course I did.
I write all my music for Delin. Fun fact.
These days, at least. So the band, the listed demands, the 76 copies of Moby Dick, the football helmet full of cottage cheese.
Again, great throwaway lines. It's like, oh, they made a book out of that? Again, throwaway line made me laugh out loud. And it's like when they're walking by later and Pip's looking at the naked.
Oh, the naked pictures of B. Arthur.
Is that B. Arthur? Yeah, nice.
I love how they tricked the guy too with the Lemmy question, which I used in the. That was fucking great. That was great.
And at the time, though, I was on Van Halen's side. So I was like, oh fuck. Now I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Also, there's the bug collection, the D&D. So we covered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they cut to the people in the crowd. It's like one's the first little nerdy little black guy. Like I play D&D too, and they cut to a big tall guy. I did this, and it's Lemmy. They have Lemmy in the crowd.
Yes,
they do.
The best.
They actually got quite a few great cameos. You got Lemmy, and White Zombie's in this movie. It's like, what? I didn't remember White Zombie being in this movie. I was like, what?
Yeah. That was they offered that to a couple other bands too. Who was it?
I was just looking at that. They offered it to it wasn't Pantera.
No, it was
I'm looking.
Metallica turned it down, and there was like a hardcore, like kind of like a Slayer type band. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Testament. That's right. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad we got White Zombie. And I can't be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure like they did use the outside of the whiskey in that opening scene, but I'm pretty sure that the shots from inside the whiskey were not the whiskey because it didn't look like it to me.
It looked way too big.
It looked too big, and two, it had that like weird silk curtain behind it, and the whiskey's got the big whiskey sign behind the drum riser and stuff, so it didn't look like the whiskey.
I have not been at the whiskey enough to know, so I'm just gonna say okay. All right. So once inside, Chaz and Kayla are fighting again, and Chaz tells her to leave. She throws a chair through the window of the broadcast booth and fries the board. Despite this obvious malfunction in the relationship, he tells her that he loves her. So, I hated this part. Then they go outside to gather the items the police have gathered from their list of demands. But when Rex goes to shut the door, the tip of his gun gets caught in it and it snaps off, revealing that it's a water pistol. Marcus punches Rex in the face, and he and Carter run off. Milo is also making a break for it, despite the fact that he's still tied to a chair, and Chaz hits him in the eyes with the pepper spray.
Nice.
Doug decides now is the time to hold them all up. So he's holding the gun out from the air shaft and tells him to freeze. But Ian hits his hand with the big baby bottle. The gun falls and real bullets spray all throughout the lobby and the police fall back. Ian picks up the gun and momentarily holds it against Chaz before handing it to him. He's clearly gone Team Lone Rangers at this point. So Des, are you Team Lone Rangers?
I don't
Maybe
know
not.
At this point. I don't know, man. I'm Team Rex. I'm Team Rex and Team Ian. How about that? Yeah. I want Ian and Rex to start a band.
And again, another one of those little throwaway things they do is like once we know that the pepper spray is in there, it's the Tabasco sauce. When he goes into Chaz is like taking a moment of reflection. The kitchen at the radio station pulls out a burrito, takes a bite, doesn't like it, sprays it with the water gun full of Tabasco sauce, and takes another bite, and he likes it again.
Yeah,
that's a great scene.
I wrote that because it's coming up. I wrote that one down because that cracked me up.
It's a fucking great scene. It really is. Good scene.
Well, it was funny because I couldn't remember, did they all have pepper spray? And at one point they were one of them was spraying Pip in the face. And I was like, did he just pepper spray Pip? But I think it was just that one gun had the pepper spray in it.
Yeah. Pip's not going to fart on a snare drum.
No, he is not.
I'm not going to fart on a snare. Again, delivery.
Yeah.
Anyone could have delivered that line differently. The way he did, I'm not going to fart on a snare drum.
Yeah. Like I said, the movie's fun. It's fine, but after a while, some of the
It's kind of childish.
Yeah, some of it gets
But
hard
it's
to
fun.
swallow.
It's fun, but it's childish, and that's okay. Like, not every movie has to be War and Peace, you know.
No.
I figure with a metal movie, they could have gone hard R and just been a little more obnoxious and a little more. I don't know.
I wish they had.
The one R-rated movie that I always go to when I say the R, it needs to be R to be funny, is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Right.
Funniest movies in the world because it has to be a hard R because of the dialogue that they say and the things they talk about.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like this could have gone the heavy metal comedy route of that.
Yeah.
I feel.
It
I
would
mean,
be
I don't know how
better.
to get it there, but
Yeah, it would have been better if they did.
It had to be. Like I said, it had to be. This movie was watered way too far down.
Honestly, like I had huge problems with Kayla. Like
Huge
problems with Kayla. Just it's wishy-washy. Like you hate him, you love him, you hate him, you love him. You're throwing chairs through a thing and frying like $1 million board. Like it just bad writing. I didn't like her. Like I wish that they had let her be like, fuck you, punch him in the face and actually leave. And then like you get like an after, like, you know how you get the afterwards and they talk about what happened to the band afterwards. I wish it had been like Kayla went on to become like a multi-million-dollar like record producer and she never talked to Chaz again. Like I wish it had ended like that.
Yeah, I didn't need that.
I would rather seen her go the Sharon Stone and Casino kind of way.
I'm with you. Thank you, Tony. I'm with you on that.
With a biker gang who drank overdose in a Motel 6.
Oh,
That's your ending. That's your ending right there. That's your ending. That's your ending. Oh shit. Yeah, and the Chaz character, man, not to the pun, but it degenerated for me, man. By the end, I was just hating Chaz. I'm like, you're such a fag. Don't make us be lame, man. It's like, just shut up and fucking lip sync the song.
Yeah. And I mean, I love Brendan Frasier. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he can do no wrong, but it was a little rough in spots on this.
He did the best with what he had.
That's it.
We know the man can, because not for nothing, he was a fucking caveman in Encino Man, and he rocked that fucking movie.
Yes, he did. No, I've never seen,
And that was before this.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm with you. It was the character of Chaz I didn't like. And I will say this, there was not a lot of like bad acting in this. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody kind of
I don't think it's the acting. I said earlier, I think it's the writing.
Yeah, everybody did their job. I mean, I felt like everybody did their job and it felt like a legit movie. It didn't feel like a B movie where you're except for fucking Michael Richards. That's his name, right?
He was a caricature.
Yeah, it didn't work. Like that felt like B movie. Like he was the one actor that really just did not pull it off in this movie. And he's a great actor. Like he can act.
No, he's not a great actor.
He's classically trained. He's
not a great actor.
He failed his training then, because he's not a good actor.
He is not a good actor.
Chris Farley could have won an Oscar for this movie more than this guy did. Chris Farley was good in this movie.
I mean, legitimately, Michael Richards has done Kramer. He's done Kramer, and he's done Kramer.
All right. Well,
is going on here.
I guess the fact that I am like a Seinfeld like heroin addict is probably makes but that's what really crushes me about this is that I just couldn't believe how bad it was. Oh,
I did hear Michael Richards did just barely lose out on Schindler's List to it was a neck and neck fucking race between the two.
Oh shit!
Fucking Michael Richards.
He's a great actor.
Okay. Oh man,
you just get removed from the fucking podcast, dude.
All right, so Tony, give us the perfect ending with Michael Richards' character.
He dies. He has in his ass. He ends up covering his whole body. It turns out it's leprosy, and the man dies while he has like a bowl of blood leaking out of his body.
Or he burns up in that fucking air duct. Like the chemical spreads up there, and he burns up like a little TV dinner. I got it. Oh. Awful. I'm with you.
Like I said,
awful.
I'll watch UHF over and over and job perfect in that. He's supposed to be an idiot.
Hey kid, you want to drink from the fire hose?
Drink from the fire hose.
Oh, so good.
I mean, again, the one scene I will give him just because again the writing and again moments of perfect writing is when the SWAT guy is talking to him and the signal's bad. He's like, well, it wasn't the Marine R2OC. Oh yeah, you're a Marine, great. It's like, well, no, I was an accountant in the Marines. No, you won't be held accountable. Don't worry about it. It was weird. That part, that's the only part I'm going to give him that was really funny.
Yeah.
It was. But even that, I just, like you said, the character took me out of the movie every single time. Like, don't do this.
Yeah.
What movie am I in? Where am I?
Yeah, absolutely.
And just because we've touched on it a few times, the part where like it's pretty much the whole end of the movie. It's like more and more people coming to the parking lot.
Yes.
It's like it did it well, but I'm sorry, no other movie did it better than Empire Records.
Right.
The ending of that to me is like the perfect gathering to say, let's save the gym. It's like you get the montage and everything like that. To me, perfect. This felt a little silly.
Yeah, I mean, there's different levels of movie making. I mean, you got like Dazed and Confused, for instance.
Classic.
Just
recently watched that again too.
Just fucking great movie making. Great movie making. This is fucking trash compared to a movie like that. This is junk food. This is a Happy Meal. This is a McDonald's hamburger. Tastes good.
It's a White Castle, dude. It's totally a White Castle. It's not even a man. Come on. It's a White Castle. I'm scraping the onions off the top because they gave me too many. It's like
so after the CBGB's gig, I was in such bad shape that the band went back to Boston, and I had to actually get my hotel for another day. And I sat in the dark watching a Star Trek Next Generation marathon, eating White Castle burgers. I got like 36 of them, and I sat there for like 40 hours straight, just eating those, shaking, watching this fucking marathon until I was well enough to get back to Boston. Fun story.
Yeah, you didn't save that one for CBGBs.
You're not well.
Yeah, I was in bad shape.
I don't know how you made it back.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because they had rented a giant box truck, so all the roadies and everybody like drove down in the back of the box truck in the dark. Like, yeah, it was fucking weird, man. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't have anything to do with that. I drove down like a gentleman, but I went home like a corpse. It was fucked up. It was fucked up.
Oh my God. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
The crowd outside the radio station continues to grow, but Jimmy Wing has arrived. Milo offers his services to hammer out a deal, and he and Wing begin going over the paperwork while the band gets the rest of their gear ready for Jimmy to listen to the tape, because nobody's been able to listen to it yet. There's a relatively quiet scene here that might be my favorite in the whole movie, where Chaz finds the taco or the burrito. I couldn't tell which it was. Unwraps it, takes a bite, uses the water gun, pepper spray, shoots some sauce on it, and takes another bite. So at this point, Ian's trying to fix the board, but there's no dice. Jimmy gives the band a record contract anyway. Once Chaz realizes that Jimmy hasn't even heard the song, he wipes his ass with the contract. However, Jimmy explains that being under Palatine Records means that they have an army of attorneys at their disposal. He calls O'Malley with more demands, and the next thing you know, everything they need to have a live music show appears. However, it's not really live. There's no juice to the amps. Jimmy tells them to just pantomime to the music, much to their chagrin. Jimmy threatens to walk if they don't perform. Chaz refuses, and as the music starts, he stands with his arms outstretched, obviously not playing his guitar. The crowd rushes the stage, and the band destroys the fake equipment before jumping into the crowd. Next, we find MTV broadcasting the Lone Rangers live from prison. The band has served 3 months in prison for kidnapping and assault with pepper sauce. Their album, Live from Prison, is a huge hit. And that's our end.
Oh, let me take it and I'll give it to you. So, all right, fucking, this is where the movie just fucking crashes and burns for me. First of all, I don't need to hear the fucking Vince Razzle story again. It's in bad taste. Okay,
I was surprised that was in there.
Yeah, people were killed. People were fucking injured that never recovered from their injuries, and they're making fun of it.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. When they said it, I was like, ooh.
It was fucking trash. I mean, Vince Neil's a fucking garbage human being, and that was fucking. The story didn't need to be in there. It literally left a bad taste in my mouth. I did not like it. Secondly, when he's like, oh, I can wipe my, you heard like 2 seconds of the song. I'll be a rock star, but on my own terms. Like, Chaz, you're never going to be a fucking rock star. This is it. It's your one chance, dummy. And he wipes his ass with the thing. Then
really
they get out on the
stage too.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so fucking lame. Then he gets on the stage, and Jimmy Wink says to him, "Guy, this is going to be the fucking video. Like we're seizing this moment. You've held this place hostage. All these people have come out like legit. This is a moment in time that is captured. Like, this is going to be on all the news channels. Like, this is magic. You guys have to lip sync so we can sync it up with the fucking album and make a video. Don't want you be freaking lame. Don't make us be lame. It's like, you know what, buddy? Fucking, you're under arrest. Get the fuck out of here. We don't want to do Degenerated. Your band sucks. Your history. Fuck off. That's where I am. If I'm Jimmy Wick, I'm like, fuck off. That's it.
Well, that's what he did.
Oh, God, Tony, go ahead. Take us from when he wipes his ass with the fucking contract.
I actually want to go back a little further because I actually really like the scene of Michael McKean and Judd Hirsch. Jesus Christ, imagine if he was in this.
Oh my God.
Judd Nelson sitting down.
I traded for Michael McFucking whatever his name is, Michael Richards.
I like them sitting down and going through the contract. I actually like that Michael McKean turned to kind of help them.
Yes,
because he saw he knows what he's doing. Like, I like that scene. I thought it was like a really good little scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just again watching on and off was really fun. Like, I just liked him a lot in this. Like, getting in Chaz's face, doing the close talk, and then backing up with his hands up like he's being thrown. Boom, 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 boom. It was a good interaction. I liked it.
Definitely.
I do agree that it's like everyone wants to. Oh, I want to be real to the music. I just got into a band because of the music. Fuck, you got in for chicks and drugs. You know what you did it for.
Yeah.
Don't lie. It's like everyone wants a record contract. You'll do whatever you have to do for a record contract. Don't bullshit with the music. It's like I understand that was like the hurrah moment, but yeah, I agree. Anyone who's ever been in the band I'll sign whatever you want me to sign.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
At that moment, I'm like, Jimmy, is there any way we can fucking lip sync this to the album?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I did from prison, and the line is like, oh yeah, the tour starts in 6 months, 3 for good behavior.
Oh yeah.
Another good line. It's like,
and Rex is humping his face, and Pip is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? There's a bunch of guys out there.
And the guys will look at him. He's like, oh yeah. And this is the one good thing that Amy Locane brought to the dance. She danced like an LA rock chick. Whereas the sister from 3 O'Clock High Kid, she was just like, I'm gonna left and right and left. Amy Locane's like moving, like she did. That was her saving grace in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chaz sucked, man. Fuck him.
And I'm so used to the Degenerated being sung by the original singer. Hearing him do it was like he sounded like he sounded like Brendan Frasier. It's like, oh my God! It's like, is he having a stroke? Like, grab his tongue.
I mean, it sounded like Brendan Frasier. I mean, it just sounded like his talking voice. You could pick it up immediately.
Yeah,
I am glad that they used him because, and I'll tell you, as we know, back in the day, a lot of these singers in these local bands couldn't sing because, I mean, if you didn't know how to play an instrument, you're like, I'm a singer, And I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I was a guitar player first, and then was asked to be a singer and did it, whatever. But most of these guys didn't play any instrument at all and really had no musical talent at all, and were just like, yeah, I'm a singer because I mean that's the way you get laid and you're partying. And a lot of these guys really just weren't singers; they couldn't sing at all.
Good hair, you can be in front.
Yeah, if you have good hair, you don't even have to sing.
Yeah,
you can just have good hair, and yeah, you're good. Like, yeah, you're in, man. You're fucking in the band. God.
You own the sound equipment? You're the singer now.
Oh, you're in. You got a van and a PA? Yeah.
If you don't have a van, you're in the band, man.
Oh shit.
So
boy. Fucking A, man. Oh, okay. I think we did it.
Yeah. I think we done did it.
Oh boy. So, all right. Let's give our rewatch scores for Airheads. Tony, go ahead. Give us your rewatch score for Airheads.
Enjoyed my time watching it, but it was definitely a huge nostalgia watch.
Yes.
If I watched, like you said, if I was showing this to somebody, it is funny. It is funny. Like, I know it's not funny right now, but wait, there's a line coming. You kind of have to. It's definitely like it doesn't hold up. I'm sorry, it just not even because of the fashion or the music. It's just the way comedies are nowadays, it's like they're pushing envelopes. They're going the extra mile to get the laugh. This was a very sophomoric written movie, very basic, lowest common denominator to apply the situations to heavy metal, to apply the situations to band. It could have been a rap band. It could have been anything else. They just went with heavy metal. So you took, all right, they have to have long hair. They have to be dumb. They have to it was all the stereotypes.
Right.
And it went checkbox every single one. So I'm going to only, out of 5, I'm going to give it a 3 because I appreciate it for what it was when I first saw it, for relating to a lot of the analogies in it. And again, more just the nostalgia of I missed that time. I had a lot of good times during that time. So that's what it brings back for me. I'm going to show it to anybody anytime soon.
And I know what you're saying, Tony, because it's a 3 because you almost feel like you just owe it to yourself in the movie to give it a 3. But if it didn't hold any weight with your past and it wasn't something you had been watching back then and I just showed it to you today and you had never seen it, you'd probably be like, fuck this movie.
It's not Spinal Tap. It's not even remotely close to Spinal Tap. I mean, it's I can't even think of another movie I would relate it to because it doesn't match any of the classic rock movies.
No.
So I mean, it is good for what is. The one thing I'll say, and I forwarded it to Dylan earlier. It's funny because the Coolidge is actually showing it next Friday at midnight.
No, really.
Go to see who's going to be there and how the crowd reacts to it.
Oh my God!
So maybe I'll report back in a future podcast. But
for the next rock and roll podcast, I would. If you go, I'd be very interested. All right, Dylan, what is your rewatch score for Airheads?
All right. As Tony said, there's a lot of fun nostalgia here, especially for those of us that were into hair metal, into rock bands around this time. Late 80s, early 90s. I get it. There's definitely pieces in there that I really enjoyed, but there's also a lot I didn't enjoy. There was a lot of bad writing. I disliked Kayla immensely. I disliked Chaz. Which is a bummer because I love Brendan Frasier and I pretty much love everything he's done except for this. I just didn't care for it. And the low hanging fruit, all of the jokes were low hanging fruit, and you get a couple laughs but it never felt clever. It never felt like it felt like it was playing to the lowest common denominator, expecting the people that would enjoy this movie to be the same quote unquote idiots that they were writing the movie about, so they have to softball the jokes into you. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 2.5.
All right. So 2.5 and a 3. And for this movie, if this is a movie that you've watched a million times and you've been watching since the beginning, I'm sure Rich Cambarello, who asked us to do the movie, and myself and Tony, if that's the movie, shit, you're going to watch this movie probably anytime it's on. If you just flip into the channels and it's on, it's something I can put on in the background while I'm strumming my guitar or just doing whatever the fuck I'm doing. And for people like that, it's fine. It's great. It's a piece of pop culture for you. And it's probably a 4.5 is what you remember it. Because that's how I remembered this. Before I watched it for this, I'm like, this is a 4.5. I don't even need to watch it. But then I watched it. Okay. And after watching it, it's not a 4.5. It's a 3. And it's only a 3 because of what I said. It's a part of my past and it's something that I've seen so many times. It's it's a mole, it's there's that mole. I've got a mole, I'm used to it. It's okay, but it's a mole. This movie's a fucking mole. So with Dylan's 2.5 and Tony and I's 3s, I'm going to give this movie a 2.75. I know that's not going to be a popular score with the metalheads in my world that are going to listen to this podcast. Yeah, sorry. But it's a 2.75. So there it is. Once again, I'd like to thank all of our listeners for stopping by, listening to the show. The listenership is growing at a huge rate since Dylan put us on
Instagram.
On Instagram. We are now suddenly getting lots of new listeners and lots of new listens. And the show is really starting to take off, which is awesome because we work really hard at this. And it's something we enjoy doing, talking about movies. So I'm glad it's finally starting to pay off and we're starting to see our listenership grow.
Thanks,
Dylan, I love watching movies from separate rooms and then talking about them with you. Tony, great tonight. I could heard all of your wise words of rock and roll wisdom tonight. The Guns N' Roses story was a fucking absolute gem. That's one for the ages. That's something that you should really treasure. That's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, that's something special.
Yeah, that's something special. And if you ever want to sell that album or trade it for something, I'm your man.
He's gonna die with that album.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna be throwing the dirt on that album. Next week we will be back with Mickey, and we will be reviewing and discussing the movie The Heat with Melissa McCarthy and
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. I've never seen this movie. I have no idea what to expect, but that's the movie we're doing. The following week, we will be doing
Jumanji.
Yeah, we were going to do Grandma's Boy, but I think we're going to do Jumanji just to back up the last Kevin Hart and Rock movie we did. So we're going to kind of back-to-back those with Pat. Then we're going to be doing The Departed with Mickey. And Tony, I will leave it up to you to pick the next rock and roll movie we're going to do. Pick a good one for us. You'll let us know.
Because he's going to pick Grease 2.
No, Grease 2 doesn't count. No, Grease 2 doesn't count. That's a musical. That's a musical.
Yeah,
That's
he also told me that I'm not allowed to do rock and roll because we will not be doing animated show.
We're not doing
no disrespect. No disrespect against the movie. It's a great movie. I get it. It's iconic. People love it. But we don't review cartoons on this podcast. It's a rule. We only do it.
It's a rule. When did this rule get made?
He made this up because he just doesn't want to do that movie. So he made this rule up.
It's not that I don't want to do the movie. We review movies with actors, not voice actors, with actors. So that movie will not be reviewed on this podcast, unfortunately.
So does that include The Wall? Since it's got animation in it?
No, The Wall is again a movie we won't be reviewing because it's just listen, I love The Wall. I've tripped on mescaline and watched The Wall and enjoyed it very much, but it's not something I want to talk about for an hour and a half. Right. You know what I mean? There's just too many other great rock and roll movies out there like Spinal Tap and there's just a million of them.
So would just be us for 4 hours quoting Spinal Tap. I know this. Really? Hey, time you got lost going to the stage? I remember I did,
So it's funny. I actually have a guitar that I've never played, like Nigel has.
Don't even look at it.
I bought a 1979/80 Gibson Les Paul Standard off a gentleman who had cancer, and he was selling it to pay for his treatments. He was an old biker, and he had bought the guitar at Walpole Music in 1980, and he was in an accident. He didn't play guitar at all. He bought it with the intention of learning to play guitar, and he was in an accident, and he damaged his hand badly and was never able to learn to play. So he put this guitar in a storage space and never looked at it again. And I answered him and I said, I want this guitar. He's like, well, I got a guy coming to look at it. He said he'd give me $1,800 for it Friday. He's got to wait till he gets paid. I'm like, dude, I'll come down right now with $2,000 and buy it. So we drove down there and he pulls this thing out, Tony. It still had the case candy in it, the receipt from Walpole Music, the little booklet. It had never been played. It had been sitting in the fucking case for like 35 years. And I can't fucking play it. I can't play it.
He played it once because the guy asked him to send a video of him playing it so that he could see it being used. And, so like it's his wish. So Des played a song and videotaped it and we sent it to the guy and then he put it back in the case and he's never touched it since.
It doesn't have a pick.
I understand it. I get that. I do get it.
Oh God, it's beautiful. It's really a thing. So I did a little video on YouTube of all my different guitars. And when I got to that one, I did the old Nigel with the fucking accent and don't look at it. You've seen it enough. And I shut the case. It was so gay. All right, guys, I think that's going to end this podcast. We done did it. So Rich Cambrillo, thanks for requesting the movie. I hope we didn't disappoint you too much with this one. We didn't really talk that much about the movie, but I think it was a fun podcast.
And if you see Bone Daddy's Burgers truck out there, go and get a burger from Rich because they're amazing.
That's right. And also a belated happy birthday to you, Rich. And, this podcast goes out to you for your birthday. So that's it. Until next time, I got one question for you. Tony, you want to take it?
Did you ever see that movie?
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
The Lone Rangers. Hello.
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 Hi.
Oh.
Okay.